All right, here we go. I have an actual microphone today, unlike the last live stream we did. Okay, I hope this camera angle works. What's up, YouTube? My name is Daniel Carter at Afro Herbkeeper. Today is Halloween, and we're gonna do something a little bit different. Today I am channeling my inner Bob Ross. We already had the hair, we just had to get the persona down. And what we're going to attempt to do today is to create a lovely painting of some lizards. Let's see. So I really ought to go through my brushes and my colors, first and foremost. But I would like to start out, if you can't tell, I'm totally unprepared for this. So let's see. Right here we have our raw sienna, and here we have our brilliant yellow-green, raw umber, pale blue, chrome oxide green. We have all of these fancy paints: titanium white, burnt sienna, pink, just pink, burnt umber, light blue, ivory black, yellow ochre. Back here we have, this one doesn't have a name. What are you? This one just doesn't have a name. All right. And neither does this one. These are our special paints. So, as you can tell, live streams always give me the jitters. I don't think Bob Ross did his show live, but they didn't edit. They just went straight for it. I'm going to use my drinking water as opposed to my brush cleaning water. And we're going to try and picture what we want to put on this canvas. You can make fun of me in the comments section all you want. I can't read it. This is our lovely little, what is this called? This is our painting tray. I don't remember what the actual term for it is, but that's all right. And this is our canvas and our easel. I think what we're going to start out with on here is, well, our ultimate goal is to paint some lizards. That's why we're all here, really. I think we're going to start out with the sky up here, the ocean maybe, about right here, and then we're going to have some rugged cliffs all along the bottom here. We're going to have some little lizards inhabiting those cliffs, and I think we're going to set this in Australia. So to start out, I am going to need some of this pale blue. This is going to be our sky, and I think this light blue, pale and light, I think this is going to be our ocean. So we're going to start out by putting some of this pale blue paint onto our tray. And this is the, you don't need anything fancy for this. This is the poor man's way of painting. I'd also like to share, one moment, give me just a second. Beautiful Bob Ross socks, just for the occasion. I hope mentioning his name so many times doesn't get me demonetized. So we are going to use some of this pale blue paint, get it nice and evenly coated onto our brush. This is a real hog hair brush. I believe they use the hairs of either farmed or feral hogs to make these things, but they are just simply a byproduct of the industry. This is a number 8 Filbert paintbrush, and what we're going to do with this, I think we could use to add some titanium white to the mixture. There we go. That's a very satisfying noise right there. I'm going to add some white right here, and it's okay that it overlaps. We are trying to mix them anyways. Let's get this nice, and there we go. So we're going to have a gradient here, and what we want to do, let me get this extra paint off my brush. I don't think we're going to be able to beat the devil out of any of our brushes today, just because I don't have anything to do that on. We're going to use some of this darker pale blue and start around at the corners. Now you should know that by no means am I any sort of expert painter, especially not on par with the late great Bob Ross. But we're going to give it our best shot because painting, it's all about having fun. I really hope my microphone works because, you know, if it doesn't, y'all can't hear anything. And I'm not going to get up and check my phone because that would just stress me out. This is a very relaxing thing to do, even if you don't know how to do it. Now, you may notice that this paint is, it's not particularly blending into the canvas, and that's because I didn't pre-treat it. Bob Ross would always put a layer of liquid white, or liquid white, as he would so eloquently put it, or liquid clear onto his canvas before his paintings. But we didn't do that because we're lazy and didn't have that much prep time. So our paint may not be as smoothly blended as his would be, but we can still give this our best shot. And we're going to paint the easel too, just for fun. All right, so that's the very top of our skyline. We can keep adding on to this. I am severely underestimating the amount of paint I'm going to need. There it goes. Hope you guys like my sound effect. Add some more of this. Mix this up. There we go. Lovely. Very lovely. So we're going to continue working on our sky here. And the goal is that as our sky gets lower and lower on the horizon, we are going to have a lighter and lighter hue. We're going to do our best to blend this even though we haven't coated the canvas with anything in the first place. Like I said, live streams do tend to give me the jitters, but I think we're getting over those now. Lovely. Now I know that my hair takes up like half of the frame, and you guys are just going to have to deal with that. It's part of the outfit. I think that I have positioned the canvas well enough that we aren't going to have any interference. Let's add a little more white into our mixture. Lovely. There we go. Now we're getting a gradient going. And you'll notice I'm just doing nice, gentle, even strokes. This is the biggest brush I have at the moment, and it's not a very big canvas, so. Beautiful. And this is at the moment a cloudless sky, and it may stay that way for the most part, but you know, in the spirit of things, we will add some happy little clouds in the near future. This is going to get lighter and lighter, and as it gets nearer to the horizon, I think I might add some yellowish, orangish hues. I think that would look phenomenal. Okay, so that's getting a little bit. This is getting a little bit light in the middle. We are losing some of our quantity of paint. I hope that bumping the microphone just then didn't do anything. Let's see. Pink could be fun. Let's try and add some pink to this. Oh, this one's not open. We gotta open this thing. Nice. Just a teensy dollop right there. And another dollop because it's already coming out of the tube. Once again, we're using our number 8 Filbert brush for this. And let's see, I think the pink looks a little strange on its own, so let's add some of this yellow ochre to the mix as well. That's not ogre as in Shrek, that is ochre as in yellow ochre. There we go. Let's try this out. Let's actually clean off our brush first. These are actually, oh, well, you know, these things happen. We're just here to have fun. These are actually my girlfriend's paintbrushes, so we're going to endeavor not to mess them up completely forever. Doesn't that look appetizing? I think by the end of this we'll have nice, dark, Halloween-style cup of water going. Okay, So that's most of our paint. I bet I could beat the devil out of this on my tripod. I'm not going to try that. We actually have a boring old dish towel just for this purpose. Let's use some more of this. It's a lot easier to do this under a sink, but this is what we have on hand. Awesome. Okay, so we have our colors here. We are going to mix these. Oh, this is looking weird. I kind of regret this. But you know, we don't have any mistakes. All we have are happy little accidents. I'm not sure if I should put this on my sky though. I used a lot of paint and it's very overpowering if you can see. It looks like maybe a burnt flesh tone. So let's see. Let's see if we can actually blend this into our blue at all and if it would look good. Unfortunately, we don't have any bright yellows or anything. Okay, this just looks kind of groggy and weird. We're gonna scrap that idea. Pretend it didn't happen. We make happy accidents, but some happy accidents shouldn't be put on the canvas. Now our water's getting a little murky. Okay, we're just gonna wring our brush out into the corner before we dry it off, and that will be much more effective. Let's continue with our skyline. I'm trying to figure out if there are any colors I could use to actually create an interesting effect on there. I unfortunately don't think there are, but we can use a lot more of this white as we get down near the horizon. I'm going to mix that white in here. Lovely, lovely. And we do want this to still retain enough of that blue that it's recognizable as the sky and not like distant snow or something. So far, this is not looking awful, I think. We've got a nice selection of blue on the canvas, and I promise eventually we will be painting reptiles. We just have to get everything else on here first. Let's finish this off nice and smooth. I think this can be our horizon line right here. And you know, depth in a painting is all about shading. And so I think we are going to add some darker blue hues to the top of our canvas once again. And to accomplish that, I should not put this brush up there while it's this color. We're going to be using a lot of bright colors on this canvas, I think. Hopefully it doesn't look too hokey once we're done. I am no master painter by any means, but I would like to make something that looks nice. We're going to open this ivory black before anything else. We're going to use just the teensiest, tiniest drop, pretty close. Screw that back on and apply more of our pale blue. Significantly more blue than black though. We will try to blend this together into something that doesn't look horrendous. That is quite a dark black. Let's add more blue. Lovely, lovely. Unfortunately, I don't have anything like a Prussian blue, a nice deep royal blue. I have black and I have pale blue. So we're going to mix those together, see what happens. Oh, we have a visitor on the set. Wonderful. Don't mess up my recording, please. Come here. Yeah? Come here. Come on. What? This is not how you're supposed to hold a cat. This is Izzy. She is not much of a helper, but here she is. She's running around outside right now. She's supervised. She's going to go back inside when I don't have a microphone clipped to my chest. Hey, you leave those alone. We are talking about those later. We will have some special guests that aren't cats on the set here eventually. Okay, so I have this darker blue on my brush. We're gonna go up in the corners here and try to add some depth, some shading. This is a little bit much, so we're gonna go over this again with some lighter blue once it's done. I'll try not to get in front of the camera. Maybe it's a stormy day. This is our world, so, you know, we can create whatever we want. Okay, that is a little much, so we're going to wipe this off once more. There's going to be a lot of this in this video. It is rather fun just to swill the brush around in there, though. I need to put my rag somewhere better than the floor and not break my paintbrush. There we go. Wonderful. So let's add, this might be a long process, so I hope you're ready. I haven't painted in maybe 2 or 3 years, so this will be an interesting, a learning experience for all of us involved. Unfortunately, I have to lean over quite a bit to actually see the part of the canvas that I'm painting. And what we're doing right now is we're just trying to blend all of these colors together, make it look natural, not like it was painted. Which, you know, it's just, that's kind of hard to do. Okay, we'll go in with some of this light white blue. We still have some of this gray on our brush, so let's try and blend that together. Okay, lovely. And the more I mess with our sky, the worse it's going to look. So I think, yeah, exactly. So I think this is pretty good for our sky. Looked a little better before I added the black, but that's okay. We are gonna let this brush dry out and I'm gonna work on our ocean. So for the ocean, I think we're going to use this number 8 shader brush. And for the ocean, we are going to use this light blue color. We'll put this away from the other colors because we don't want to mix anything, at least not right now. I'm going to pick up the paintbrush that fell on the ground and we're going to go in with this light blue, make sure it's nicely coated on our brush, not too thick anywhere. Lovely. And let's see, we're going to start right down here. I'm going to let this dry a little bit before we do anything else to it. There is some contrast between these. We're going to add a horizon line at some point, so it won't be, you know, blue on blue. This is supposed to be a shader brush. This is what I should have been using up here. That is a really lovely color. So this is the ocean, but we're going to assume it's a relatively calm day. We will probably add some clouds to reflect that at some point. Let's get all the way up here into this crevice. Excellent. We're going to need a lot of this blue. But we're not going to be able to see too much of the ocean. It's going to be in the distance. So we don't have to spend too much time on this. Really nice. So the ocean is looking a little flat. We want to add some sort of depth of color to it. Perhaps I could go in with a, I'm thinking. We could add some white to this and have it go down the middle. That might work out. Nice. Take just a touch of this white, mix it a little bit with our blue, and actually, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go over this while it's still wet. try and coat this whole layer of canvas. And we're just getting colors out of the way. We're getting the background out of the way so that we can focus on our subjects. And the sky and the ocean are just as much our subjects as are the lizards we will eventually endeavor to paint, but they are in the background, and so they need to stay in the background. This blends very well with our sky, but we're going to try and add a horizon line to separate the two. Very nice, very nice. Oh, that works well. We're going to add some, I'm going to do just straight strokes along the side here. And please remember, I am not a professional painter. I actually suck at painting. I am okay at drawing and sketching and graphic design, because graphic design is my passion. But this, not so much. And we're going to make sure that I'm not blocking the camera at any point during this process. My wrist might get tired, though. Let's move some of these out of the way. I'm sure we'll get to them later, but I don't need them on the set right now. That's much better. Lovely. Okay, so we've blended our sea and our sky just a little bit, and I think we're going to take some of this white now, finally, and we're just going to squiggle it in here. Lovely. I am sitting outside for this because it's a nice day out. We're expecting some rain later soon. Probably not while I'm filming. I am on a covered porch, so it's fine. It's not awful. Let's add some more of this. Add some more distinct wave breaks here, if we can. And remember, painting is all about having fun. No matter what your skill level is, you should be able to accomplish something, and that's what we're trying to do today. See if we can manage some waves here. Remarkable painting skills by Afro Harpkeeper. And we're trying to keep these as straight as possible because, I mean, we want some flux to them, but this is the ocean. There we go, lovely. That looks like a tide crashing in. All right, that's not too bad. Add one over here, sort of going off the frame. Nice. What do y'all think? I can't read what you think, but you can just tell me. I won't get it unless you go back in the comments after this live stream has ended and comment it a second time, but you know. Going to clean our brush here. Swill it a little bit more. Bring it out in the corner. And dry it on our towel. Nice. Let's work on our sky a little bit more. I want to add the lightness back into there because we just have this gross, dark color seeping into the corners. And I mean, you know, it's not gross. I just think we could use a brighter color. I'm trying to focus on bright colors in this painting because there's a lot of darkness in the world today. And while, you know, obviously you can't have light without dark, I think we could all use a little more light in our lives at the moment, given everything that's going on. Lovely, that's a good shade. All right, nice, nice. Let's try to keep this. And we are using still our number 8 shader brush. And so we're trying to shade with it. Beautiful, okay. That's nice, that's nice. Let's try to cover up this bald patch right here. Nice. That'll do it. Okay, we're almost done with our backdrop. And once we're done with our backdrop, we're going to let it dry for a little bit, and I will have, I will have a special guest for you guys. Very nice, very nice. And we do want the top of our sky to be a little dark, but we could use to lighten it up a little more. Not all the way in the corners, because I don't know how light this is going to be. Let's use some more blue. I don't want to use any of the ocean blue because, you know, we got to keep our ocean and our sky separate. That's it. That's the shade. Let's try and blend this in there. Brighten it up a little bit. I'm pulling paint back off the canvas if I'm not careful. We don't want to do that. Blend this a little. Very nice. Not bad. I think that looks adequate. Blend this a little. And we can do something other than just brush strokes. If we want to really blend this, we should be doing this. And then stroking. Very nice. I'm just going to do this over a few areas I see that could probably use some touching up. Nice. And don't worry, we're not going to be doing the sky or the sea forever. We are going to work on some critters and some plants. We just got to get this out of the way. Very nice. Trying to be happy with this. It looks all right. It looks enough like a sky. I think that works pretty well. So now what we're going to do, we're going to clean our brush off beforehand, is we're going to add a horizon line so that you can definitively tell where the ocean ends and the sky begins. My cat just sneezed. I don't know if it picked it up on this microphone. And don't worry, she's not out hunting anything, she's just laying on the porch. All right, we're going to set this brush aside for now. We have our big brush, it's been drying off. We are going to use, this looks good. Yeah, we're going to use our number 4 shader brush. So this is a smaller version of the brush that we've been using. And what we're going to do is we're going to take just the ivory white, the titanium white that we've been using. This is not ivory. There's no yellowish hue to it. It's just titanium white. Titanium is like gray, right? Whatever. We're gonna evenly coat our brush with this stuff. And hopefully I don't have to get in front of the camera to do this, but what we're going to do is take this brush very carefully, very gently, and add a horizon line to separate the ocean from the sky. This is not quite as fine as I want this line to be, but, you know, it's acceptable. Happy accidents. We are trying to channel our inner Bob Ross here. Don't demonetize me, please, and don't sue me. I couldn't handle that. We are not a professional painter by any means, but we are getting it done. Now that is just too thick. Okay, we're working with it here. Come on, canvas. If I could have a steadier hand while doing this, that would be Wonderful. Okay, well, we have this. Let's try blending it a little bit with the sea under here. Ah, darn. Happy thoughts, happy accidents. That's not bad. Lovely. So what we're trying to do is create a defining edge between the sea and the sky. And this is ideally supposed to be a straight line. Unfortunately, that's not quite what we have here, but it's okay. We can try. I may have to get in front of the camera for this. Very gently trying to straighten out our edge here. And unfortunately, there's so much paint on the canvas now that my colors aren't quite appearing where I want them to. Okay, that's a much better straight line. Let's smooth this out down here a little bit. Lovely, lovely. Okay, here is our sky and our sea. Remarkable, isn't it? So we're gonna let this dry off a little bit before we add anything else like clouds or like the landscape that we're going to have up front. I might wanna move this, bring this down a few more inches. But before we do that, we have a special guest. And so in the spirit of, you know, the joy of painting reptiles, we have some reptiles. First and foremost, is an animal that, you know, if you're familiar with reptiles, you are probably familiar with this species. This is a crested gecko. This is an animal from New Caledonia, which is off the coast of Australia. And what a little goober it is. My goodness. Has these big bulging eyes, these little sticky feet, the goofiest face. And she holds that expression all the time. Never loses it. She is just as soft and squishy as she looks. And you'll notice she doesn't have a tail. It's because Lemonhead here, she lost her tail like a year ago. It was a very sad event. Unfortunately, this species of lizard does not grow their tails back, but they get on just fine. They just keep on trucking. I thought the calm demeanor and the, you know, the nature of this animal would make a good complementary pairing to what we're trying to accomplish today. So this is Lemonhead. She is my crested gecko, like 4, maybe 5 years old. I think she hatched in 2014. What a beauty. We'll hope that this is focused enough. And we're also going to hope that this is an HD live stream, unlike the last one. We are much closer to my house this time. All right, that's been our first special guest. I'm going to get up, make sure that our camera is functioning. Absolutely remarkable. Okay. Sit back down. Have a sip of this water. And I will edit that out once this goes, actually goes up as a video. Once again, drinking water, not painting water. Okay, so we have our sky and our sea, and it took us a long time to get here, but that's okay because painting is an experience. We are gonna add, oh, I keep doing this. It's gotta be an old paintbrush. We are gonna add a little more to our sea right here, just because I don't know how much of a rock outcrop I'm going to draw. I just pulled one of my afro hairs off of the paintbrush. Let's do this. Let's just add a couple inches to the bottom. We don't need to make it fancy or anything, no waves. We're just gonna add paint, color, bright color, because bright is fun. You can have a lot of fun when you're painting. There are no limits to what you do. Your only limit is your own creative ability, but even that can be improved. Just takes work, practice, effort. Lovely. Very nice. Isn't that a nice color? Okay. one more long stroke here. It's not as long as I expected it to be, but let's see. Let's make sure we get some of this paint. Beautiful. And we're going to leave this as a dirty, messy edge down here because we are going to go over this with other paint in just a second. I might have brought my special guest on too early. We have another one in the wings. Okay, so we have our sea and our sky. That doesn't look half bad, does it? While we wait for this to dry, let's try and work on some clouds. I have not painted clouds before, like ever, so this will be, you know, an experience. But I watched 2 or 3 episodes of Bob Ross last night in preparation for this event, so, you know, we'll give it our best shot. Dry off our brushes, flick them off into the corner. Gently dry these brushes because they are my girlfriend's, not mine, and I do not want to break them. Okay. All right, cloud time. We are going to use, to start, this number 6 round brush. Hopefully the shape of the bristles on here will allow us to create some very nice looking clouds. And our clouds, as they're going to blend in with the sky in the background, are going to be stark white, titanium white. That'll be our base color, and it'll probably fade a little bit into the background as we go. Okay, let's give this our best shot. So we're just going to coat the end, the bristles of the brush, and tap out our excess paint onto the tray before we actually go in here. I can hear the wind picking up. I bet there's a storm coming in. All right, let's see. Where do we want these clouds? What kind of clouds do we want? Do we want wispy clouds or full clouds? We're going to try one right here. We're just going to gently tap our brush in an effort to create a cloud that doesn't look fake. It's not going to work, but, you know, we can try. Maybe one over here. And these are not finished products. We're going to brainstorm ways we can improve these as we go. And we're just rotating, swiveling, tapping our brush to try and create these organic shapes that could perhaps be called happy little clouds. All right, that's not too bad. Let's add some more white on top of this. Give it some definition, because paint is all about layering. That's not awful. Let's try one right up here. And this one can be a little bigger. Maybe we'll have it extend up to the top of the canvas, and then come back down. I hope my phone doesn't die. That would not be cool. I didn't check what percentage it was at when I got up. And these clouds shouldn't be all white space. They should have definition and depth to them. I had a couple little wispies in here, and one up here, just a little bit. Lovely. Okay, so these could arguably be called clouds, and our easel is about to fall over. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. That would just ruin everything. My chill would be lost. Okay, that's almost a cloud. Amazing. Remarkable. Let's extend this one into over the ocean a little bit, because ocean, you know, the ocean is full of water. Water helps make clouds. Science. Jeez, you know, if Bob was around today, I wonder what he would think of our political situation at the moment. I hope most of my viewers are American so they can relate. Actually, I mean, you know, I hope I have a very diverse audience, but, you know, the YouTube analytics tell me otherwise. There are outliers. Okay, so these are some clouds. They almost look realistic. Let's add some more depth to this big one up top. Just some more white, make it look more cloud-like. Can add a little more white to here. And if you're just tuning in, I promise we will be painting some reptiles eventually. We just have to get everything else done first. And also, if you're just tuning in, happy Halloween. Spookiest time of the year. Add some white right in here. Nice. See, I'm trying to create texture here, but all I'm doing is applying way too much paint to the canvas. And disrupting the texture that I already had. Oh, that's not bad, though. Blend this a little bit with the sky. Make it more ethereal. Very nice. Now we're getting some realism in here. Adding this wispiness. It's all about the little details. All about the color, the shading, and the texture. We can improve this one up here. We can add some bits around the edges. All right, I think we have some clouds. The center of this particular cloud is looking a little gray and blue. Maybe it's a storm cloud. Yep, that's fine. I don't want to mess with those anymore. So we have our sea, our sky, and our clouds, and now it's time to create the landmass of Australia. The whole thing, we're going to put it all on the canvas over everything that I've already done. Now, we are going in and creating some coastline down here where this has hopefully dried off a little bit. What colors do we want to use for this? We have this lovely yellow ochre, this raw sienna, and this burnt sienna. And I think these colors look very Australian to me. Let me organize some of our paints so that I have space to put my arm. Now, this burnt umber also looks good, and this raw umber looks like it would be great for shading. This we're going to save. This will be involved with our one of our subjects. Okay, so we have these four lovely colors, and we are going to endeavor to create a rocky outcrop on the edge of the sea. And we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to start down here, though, in order to create the, we're going to work from the ground up here. So I think we're going to start with the darkest color first, because shading is very important, and you can't really go back once you've put a color down. So it makes more sense to put the darkest color down first so that you aren't trying to cover up something bright. And we'll use our big brush again. This is a number 8 Filbert brush, or maybe that's the brand, I don't know. It says Pro Art, and then it says Filbert, so I'm guessing it's a Filbert style brush. I don't know anything about painting. Nice. So we're taking our raw umber, and we're just going to coat the land with this, all of it. Anywhere that's going to be land, we're going to put this raw umber color. And this is our base coat, so we'll have something to work with that's not white canvas. Just nice, thick, even strokes. We don't want to put too much paint on the canvas, but we don't want bald spots. Try and get some of the edges here too. I'm going to hope that my audience isn't bored out of their wits right now. I'm sure somebody out there finds entertainment value in this. Lovely. Now, I'm obviously not teaching you how to paint here, I'm just painting, but because I don't expect anybody to follow along at home. But if you'd like to paint a scape with some lizards on it, then you know what? This video is here for you. And I wouldn't be going over this so many times if it weren't for these bald spots. They are a little hard to deal with. Sounds like we might have a vehicle coming by. First one of the video. Like I said earlier, I am just on my front porch, and thankfully this time I'm wearing a microphone. Is that a school bus? No, it's a UPS driver. Oh my god, that's the noisiest thing I've ever heard. It's not. My parrots are louder than that. I wonder if you guys can hear that on this microphone. I bet you can. I hope you can hear some of the paintbrush sounds because they're very soothing. We are almost there. Almost have this landmass covered. Like I said, this is our base layer. We're going to use all these bright, flashy colors on top of this in order to create some depth. I have no desire to destroy this paintbrush, but we got to get down in here. Very nice. Covering up the last of our bald spots. I'm going to need a little more of this paint soon. And it's starting to mix with our other colors. That can't be an awful thing, though. A little variation is always good, no matter what you're doing. We're going to splotch this paint on here instead of stroke it on. Here comes the UPS driver again. I hope he doesn't come over here. I think he's just going around the corner. Goodbye. All right, we have most of our landmass complete. Obviously, just the first layer of it. I am definitely not as fast at doing this as Bob Ross would be, and you know, I also don't have very large brushes to work with, but that's okay. Okay, so as we get up higher here, I think I'm going to add some of our burnt sienna to the mix. And this is before we add any plant life or any animals or anything. We are just going to create the land. Mixing these together creates a nice muddy brown. We are trying to create the earth here, so might as well use earthy tones. Very nice. And don't worry about these colors blending, because we've added a lot of extra water just for this purpose. We can cover it back up. Nice. That's a nice blend. Here we go. I can't stop painting until I've created my lizards, because that's what y'all are here to see. Hopefully it doesn't take me more than, you know, an hour or two, because my phone has limited battery life, and instead of charging it, it has a microphone plugged in, because I have an iPhone 7 Plus and they removed the charging port. No, they removed the headphone jack. This would otherwise fit perfectly into the headphone jack. Very cool. Very cool. So we have our landmass and our water and our sky, and this is not looking too hot, but that's because we haven't really worked on it yet. So we're going to add some of this raw sienna. What we used before was burnt sienna. We're going to add a good bit of this and just mix it in with the colors that we're already using. Make sure this isn't about to fall over. So we're going to mix these together, and we're going to use this almost dark hue. Get some of that off my brush. We're going to use this hue to create our cliffs. So let's see. We've gone all the way up to the water line, so this is how much we have to work with up to here. This is where I want to cut off the landscape. Let's see. we're going to go in from here. I want to create some realistic looking rocks. I'm going to go in from right here. We're just going to do this. We're going to eyeball it. Create some crags, rocky outcrops. This color blends pretty well. It's not the worst. And we're going to go up higher and make sure it comes off of the canvas all the way up here. We could actually use to bring this all the way up to the sky. I think that would look lovely. And we'll cover up one of our clouds a little bit, but we're going to try not to blend them together because a white cliff would look kind of weird in this particular landscape. Let's wash off our brush. Now this is going to turn a weird color. Maybe eventually. Don't drink that. We're going to flick, and we are going to dry this thing off. Very nice, very nice. We've got our raw sienna color. Once again, it's been blended a little bit with our other earthy tones, but it's what we're working with. And we're going to keep covering this. I want to have another little terrace right here. And make this rock a little more jagged. Let's see. Now we do have to remember that there are no mistakes in painting, only happy accidents. So we're going to work with what we get. I think I need a finer brush for these details. We're just trying to create the overall shape of this landmass. I'm not entirely sold on what I have going right here, but we're going to work with it. Let's fill in this empty blue space before anything else, because that'll look a lot better once we do. I need to remember that this dark part down here is also part of our landmass. And this is not on a very large scale. It's supposed to be kind of close up. So I think we're going to connect these two spots. Do away with this gap in the middle. That looks a little more natural to me. But we can still have this like jutting out part up here. It's not bad. It's not too bad. And that'll slope upward like that, and we can blend these colors together. Because this is, you know, we got to start focusing on angles now, because angles are very important. Let's try working on envisioning what this is supposed to be. Add some more right here. This is the more creative part of the process, so I have some creative freedom here, but I would like to create something that looks realistic. Let's see. Let's give this rock a friend. A happy little rock friend over here. Coming down as opposed to up this time. Let's do like this. Let's have it go up and then down more sharply. That doesn't look too bad. And these are all very dark colors, but we're going to go over it with something a little lighter shortly. We're just going to blend this together. Interesting, very interesting. I think it's about time to start introducing some lighter colors and refining the edges of these cliffs. we got to create the habitat of these animals before we actually paint the animals, and it's got to look convincing. That's what we're trying to do. Adding in a very small rock right there. All right, so we have our sky and our sea and these seaside cliffs, and now what we got to do, my paint tray is getting a little full right here. This looks like a piece of art too. There's the color palette we're using. Let me rinse this off one more time. It's starting to look a lovely grayish, greenish. Oh, that just looks like gray. This looks like that one episode of SpongeBob where the Krabby Patties are just like gray mush. You wouldn't hear Bob Ross say that. Okay, let's see. Let's go with, let's change our brush out. Let's use, we haven't used this one yet, it would work well. This is our number 6 shader. What have I done to this one? Yeah, this one's fine. I actually haven't used this one yet. This might be good for what we're endeavoring to do, but I also have this very fine bristled brush. It's a number 4 shader. Let's use this guy. It seems pretty solid. Let's see. We're going to go for... So this one is going to be in the background. No. This is going to be in the foreground. We're going to have a platform coming out right here. And then these are going to be a little further back. My cat is messing around over there. Let's use this raw sienna. Unless that's what we've been using. Let's blend a little of this raw sienna with the yellow ochre, and we will try and create this platform that I'm mentioning after maybe refining our edges a little bit on here. We are going to use the yellow ochre for that as well. And what we're going to try to do is create a bit of a halo or a highlight around the edge of these cliffs and make it more defined that way. I'm going to mix a little bit of these two together. This is not the best brush for mixing colors. It's very small, but that's okay. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so we have this nice caramel colored brown paint here. We're going to try and go in here and create some details. Because it's all about the details. And we're going to blend this lovely caramel color in with everything else as we go. Probably going to have to get up and make sure the camera's still rolling here in a second. Bob Ross did not have to worry about that. He had a camera crew. It's not too bad. I got to make sure I'm avoiding this skyline here, because that's just going to bring unwanted colors into the mix. As soon as I'm done with this ever so difficult cliff face, we're going to bring another guest onto this set for you guys to check out. So this highlighted color is not too bad, not too shabby. And we're going to bring it down here and create a platform, but that can wait because we're going to do this first. I have another cat coming up. Ike! Oh, Bob Ross wouldn't yell like that. I shouldn't do that. Very nice. So I don't know if there are cliffs like this in Australia with these weird bulbous edges, but we're using our imagination today and we're just having fun. So that's what this is all about. And we're going to add a little more color here because we don't want that sky color seeping through. Very nice, very nice. Add some more of this up here, make it look like an actual, the top of the formation. This is a shader brush, so we are trying to shade here. I hope I'm not in front of the camera. That would really suck. A little too hard on that. And as I've said many times before, if you've been with me, you're tired of me saying this, but I'm no master painter. We are here just to have fun. Have a good time. The spirit of the season. So we have, let's see. We've got our one cliff face here. It's not looking particularly, not looking particularly realistic. Line going down here, and one right here, and blend those into the landscape and give the rock some more interesting colors. This part may not be my strong suit. Down. Not like it already is or anything. I'm trying my best to create little variations here. Oh, that's much better. I should be moving my brush in this way. I have a tendency to go back to the normal brush strokes, but I should really be dabbing it like this. Nice. This isn't going to be the most realistic painting, and that's perfectly fine. Nice. But now that we're getting some shading onto these rocky outcrops, looks awesome. Since I got a phone call, let me check the status of my camera. On power, and that's a shame. We've been going for over an hour at this point. I can see the chat right now because I'm standing behind the phone. It's 3 o'clock. My phone is at 19%. The painting looks good from over here, so there's that. We're going to assume that the screen is not frozen anymore. I don't think it is. And we're going to go back to actually painting. I have 19% left on my phone, so this is a dangerous game that I'm playing right now. We're going to try and do this pretty quickly. It was at 66% when I started. Now it's at 19. I think that happened because my phone put up a low battery mode alert. Here we go. Now we are getting some of the nice earthy shades in here. It is starting to look a little more realistic, but I don't want my phone to die before time is up, before I finish this painting. Maybe we'll do an episode 2 where I paint the actual lizards. We'll see. But for now, getting these nice rocks, we don't want to rush. Just want to have a good time with it. This is our canvas. We're creating. I'm going to bring this down here a little bit. Lovely. Blend this. Nice. Now, this part does look a lot better from the camera. It looks a little different over here, but I'm not complaining. I'll blend this in a little bit. I'm getting the sky color in there. That's not what I wanted. Dab a little more of this on top of that. Cool. That's acceptable. Nice. Let's have this come down here. We're trying to create at this point the landscape of it all. Nice. Let's bring some of this other color in here. Have this come down here. I really hope the live stream is working again, because if not, I'm talking to nobody. That would not be fun. Very nice, very nice. We're going to have these slope down here, and that you can see that they meet right here, and that puts this rock in the background and these two in the foreground. But what we haven't painted yet is our actual platform that's going in the middle, so we're going to add some more of this raw sienna, but mostly this yellow ochre. This is going to be the shade of the ground. And we should add this burnt sienna too at some point. So my paintbrush fell on the ground. Let me check, make sure this is running again. Fantastic. It looks like it is from here. I'm going to assume it actually is on the stream because I can't see your chats. Unless my Wi-Fi went down, and then we're all screwed. Okay, so we've got this lovely color. This is going to be our foreground color, and we're just gonna slather. We're just gonna put this on here, but we don't want to overpower anything. I have this right here. This is looking a little different than I pictured it when I started out, but that's okay, because this is an experience. I have most definitely never live streamed anything like this before. Bring this up here, let it travel up the cliff a little bit, but only a little bit. And let's add some more of this color down here. I don't think I want to go entirely over the base layer that we put down, but mostly we should. Dab this in here. Oh, that's the way to go. Look at that. Wonderful. This easel's going to get really messy, but that's okay. That's what it's for. And this is going to travel up the side of our cliff a little bit too. We're just going to... What we want is this organic quality to it. So it's not just simple strokes. It's... There we go, yeah. Lovely. Hopefully it's working now. The camera, that is. This is working fine. And if we're still frozen, that sucks. Now, if my phone does die, we're gonna be back with you at some point. I don't know how fast I could charge it, but maybe we could do the second episode of this tomorrow, and you guys can come back. I'll just change the title to Part 1. Nice. Let's have this. Let's blend this in here. Lovely, lovely. We're gonna make it lighter towards the front because, you know, we do want a lot of light in this painting, like I said. World could always use a little more light. Up here. Nice. We're just going to blend this together. That's a nice sound. Up in here. Up in here. Have it travel up the cliff a little bit over here. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Bring a little more yellow down to the base. Slather this on there and draw it out a little bit. The wind is picking up. That storm I mentioned might be coming in soon. Let's dab a little of this up here too. Just add to the detail. Try to make it a little more realistic. And this, oh man, that's still looking a little strange. We're gonna add some of this up here because it's the top of the cliff. It's gonna be getting the most light probably. I don't know art. Okay, our easel is about to fall over again. There we go, much better. Okay, that's not awful. Let's bring this over here, and then I'm gonna check on the camera. If we are rolling, tell me in the comment section right now, because I will, I'm about to get up and check it, and there's a lag. This looks a little more realistic. We're gonna add some of this darker color to highlight back here in the same fashion. Not too much, because we don't want to, you know, break the realism of it, but that's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so here we have our landmass. It needs a little bit of highlighting over here. I should say up here, along the edge, so that we can distinguish the rocks from one another and from the sky. If we don't end up painting any reptiles in this episode, my sincere apologies. You'll have to tune in tomorrow. I have plans Halloween night, because it is Halloween, and happy Halloween if you're just joining us. Cool. Cool and good. Let me check the camera. We're still rolling. I cannot honestly tell if we have a live feed or not, but I sure hope we do. I don't have any comments saying that we have a live feed, but hopefully that's the case. Sitting back down, we're gonna work on this for another few minutes. Get this going. We still have 50-some viewers, so I mean, hopefully they're watching something, not just a frozen screen. That's the issue with live streams. They always do that to me. I don't know why. Okay, this looks rocky, generally. Check my camera one more time. Yep, we're live. That's good. Okay, well, actually, hang on. Third time's the charm. I'm at 12%, guys. So we've lost another 8% since I, no, just 7% since I got up last. We're gonna wash this brush and let it dry out. I don't know if we're gonna use it again, but we have some semblance of a landscape going here. And before we add our plants and our animals, I'm gonna dry this brush off. Hopefully not abusing the brushes too much. And we are going to add a highlight along the top of here as best we can. This is going to be very similar to the sky, the horizon line that we did. I think we could use this one for that. It's got a very flat edge. Nice. Let's do this yellow ochre. A little more than that. There we go. This is turning into a mess, but that's okay. Let's actually add, I'm gonna add some titanium white to this yellow ochre. Just a drop, the teensiest drop. There we go. I'm gonna blend this together just a little bit. You can hear a squirrel in the distance. You may not be able to, but I can. Very nice. Okay, we've got sort of a golden hue here, and what we're going to do is just gently dabble this on the edge of the cliffs, ever so gently. Don't want to add too much or too little. And we can have a little more down here. This curve around the edge. And this is our highlight. This is what we want to be detailed. We're going to add a little more in here because it's all about the details. This is going to be a little stylized more than perfectly realistic, but that's okay. Go up here, and up here we want to be careful because there's a lot of paint involved. Very nice, that's getting good. And this we're going to try and blend in a little more with the landscape. Let's grab a little more of this. Make sure we have that refined edge in there. Because if you know me, you know I'm all about that refined edge. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's not too bad. Let's do a little more right here. If you're just tuning in, we're going to paint reptiles later. My phone is at a very low percentage, and the stream could go off the air at any moment. And the stream could go off the air at any moment. Could happen right now. But it's not going to. It's going to happen soon, though. And when it does happen, we are going to be back. And when it does happen, we are going to be back and do a part 2 tomorrow. I have to bring all my set in and set it back up, but you know, it's whatever. I had plans tomorrow. I was going to go into work. We'll do this. I'll squeeze this in there somewhere. That was one of my cats. I don't know if you could hear that. He's an idiot. He just climbed a tree. Cats. I don't know if you could hear that. He's an idiot. He just climbed a tree. Okay, we're gonna get a little more highlight in here. Not too much, but you know, just something to break up the monotony and the darkness of it. Because we are wanting lots of nice bright colors in here. And let's have, oh, that looks good. Let's have some depth to these marks. And this is going to be right here. It's going to keep going down. because this is its own rock. It's not attached to that other rock, but they are friends. They're friendly rocks. I'm sure they have no problems with each other. Rocks don't suffer from the, societal downfalls of humans. Rocks aren't racist. At least I hope not. Very nice. Now that's starting to look like a painting. Maybe not the most, technical painting, but it's looking like a painting. Nice. Oh, we can add some. Yeah, let's do this. Can add some rocks in here. And we're trying to get some of this paint off here. I'm trying to blend this with the surrounding area so that it looks a little more realistic. And this is perhaps not the best way to go about it. I'm just creating this big splotch right here, but that's okay. This is its own new rock. We've created a brand new rock, guys. Incredible. I'm gonna have it trail down here a little bit. And over here a little bit. That's not bad. We're gonna leave it at that so I don't mess it up again. We have another vehicle coming through. Very loud. All the cars driving through here are super loud. I bet this one, oh no, it's a 16-wheeler. In my small residential neighborhood, there happens to be a 16-wheeler driving by while I do this live stream. That one was significantly louder than the FedEx truck. Barbara Ross would say that either. Maybe I should stick to the source material. That was a lizard. She's probably not happy about being in a box out here. I showed off my Crested Gecko lumen head earlier in the stream, and she's just been sitting down there. That goes a little too far down, but that's fine. Let's add a little color right here. Blend that a little bit. And yeah, this is a long process. I can't paint as fast as Bob Ross can. Let me check on my camera because any moment now it's probably going to go off the air, and when it does, show's over for now, unfortunately, because I can't charge it that quickly. But I will be back tomorrow with the ability to paint lizards, and that's what we're going to do. So let's work on this cliff after I check on the camera. We froze again. My phone says it was at 10%. We're back, don't worry. Okay, so we are back. This is what we have going on. I don't know how off or how long the camera was off, but it was because my phone gave me a low battery notice. I wish it wouldn't do that while I was live streaming. Maybe they should fix that. But we have these lovely rocks and outcrops going on. As I've been saying, my phone's going to die soon. And when it does, we are going to have to come back at a later date tomorrow to actually draw our lizards. But what we have here is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. This is a nice habitat for the reptiles that we're going to eventually be drawing. Let's add some of this yellow ochre. I wish I had a better view of this. I don't want to get in front of the camera. Try and lightly tap this. Oh, lovely. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're looking for. Nice. So we have this highlight around all of our rocks, and we don't want to extend it too far down because, that's just not quite the point of a highlight. Bring it down a little bit here. Down even further. Very nice. And we're going to bring it down even further to distinguish this rock from the rock behind it. That looks good. Excellent. That's a painting. It's not amazing. It's a painting. And it looks like one. adding all these unnecessary details. It's just going to clutter it. That's okay. Let's add something up here. This could use a little bit more color, perhaps. Add it on this side. Nice. And then we're going to trail down here a little bit with this yellow. Nice. And these are not the most realistic lines. They are more cartoony than anything, but that's okay. I'm not going for perfect realism here. I don't think I could. I'm not the best painter. I can paint, apparently, but not like remarkably. Nice. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Very nice. Okay, so we have a landscape here. This is pretty much what our lizards are going to be living on. We have yet to add plants, and we have yet to add animals of any sort, but I'm going to add some color variation to our rocks here before the camera dies. And as soon as it does and we go off the air, that's it for this time, and we will see you next time to paint some lizards, like I promised to today. Unfortunately, circumstances do not allow. I wish that I could be streaming this for more than an hour and a half, but this is what we're doing. Let's do this a little bit. So we're just adding random splotches of color right now, more than anything else. This is going to go up this edge. And we're basically just adding to the I bet my afro is shaking as I do this. Let's add a little more right here, blend these two spots together. Let's add a big ol' splotch of it right here in the middle. And we'll try and bring this all the way down to the bottom. This is going to become our new base color. So we have like 4 different layers of paint right here. That's fine. That's the point. That brings in the realism, the detail, all those important things. Get this bottom totally coated, and then we're just going to go in and do this for a bit. And hopefully my canvas isn't going to fall off the back of this table as I violently poke it with a paintbrush. Okay, we might be about to run out of time if we haven't already. We're following these angles as the Ross would do. We can add a little bit of ambient color here. Now that this has dried off a little bit, it gives us some leeway to go back over and blend. But it's only dried off a little bit, and I don't want to mess it up. This part hasn't dried off yet, but we can still do this. That's pretty fun. Okay, so we've created this seascape. We have our cliffs, we have our ocean, and we have our sky, and we have our happy little clouds. Tomorrow, we are going to breathe life into this painting by adding some Australian lizards, maybe a snake, probably lizards, and some vegetation with all of the brighter colors that we have. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rendition of The Joy of Painting Reptiles with Daniel Carter. And, you know, if you tune in tomorrow, we will actually bring some reptiles to this canvas. So thanks for, if you tune in tomorrow, we will actually bring some reptiles to this canvas. So thanks for tuning into The Joy of Painting Reptile Habitats with Daniel Carter. And if the phone hasn't turned off just yet, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. All right. Bye, guys.